Hi everyone, jambo, habari yenyu. Hope you're doing well and hakuna matata. So actually let me start teaching you some of these Swahili words meaning. So I keep saying jambo, and possibly some of you who watch me, because you're non-Swahili speakers, you actually don't even understand what jambo means. But jambo means hello, and hakuna matata means no worries. It's famous from the Lion King. If you have ever watched the Lion King, it just means hakuna matata. It is Swahili. I am proud. From where I come from, that's the language we speak, Swahili. And thank you very much because of always tuning in to watch my content, to watch my channel. You are very welcome. And if you have not subscribed and this is your first time, please do not forget to hit that red notification bell down there. Subscribe to my channel, and also don't forget to hit that notification bell so that each time I upload a new video, you will be the first one to be notified. Now, my name is Sharon, aka Baraka, and once again I welcome you to my channel. I said the other day that I'm going to be introducing a sector of safeguarding in this channel, and in today's episode, it's a lovely day here in the UK. So I've come out to enjoy the lovely weather, and I also thought, as I enjoy, why don't I come and speak to my people and do an episode of safeguarding. There are so many things that are unknown, or there is a lot of misconception about what safeguarding is, particularly in the UK. And I just want to come and talk to you guys. Let's talk on one-to-one. I think I will be very bold to come and speak some of these things, because not many people would be bold enough to come out on a social media platform and talk about some of these things. But I think and I feel it is important that we speak about them, because they are affecting many families. There's a lot of misconception of what exactly happens when it comes to safeguarding law here in the UK. And I have been bold enough to come out here and want to speak to you about it. So I'm going to start with the basics of what safeguarding is. I'm not going to be talking about safeguarding of adults today. I'm going to be talking about the safeguarding of children. And safeguarding is a duty of everybody to make sure that the children that you look after are safeguarded. They are living in a safe environment. They are not put in any sort of significant harm. So if there is worries or concerns that any child is facing significant harm, then there is a duty to protect that child or those children. That is the law within the UK. One of the things that is not known very well is who should be the one to safeguard children. And there is a thought that the people or the parents that look after that child, whether they are biological parents or it's a partner, are the ones that are responsible for safeguarding a child in the UK. But safeguarding is a duty for everybody, whether you are the parent of that child, whether you are the friend of that family, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a professional that has worked with that child, or you know that child, or you know that family, whether you are a neighbor, safeguarding is a duty of everybody. And what is not known by many is that there are times when, if people feel a child is at significant risk, they will make reports to the relevant authorities. Usually they will report to social services, because it is the social services that normally will deal with safeguarding issues. When this report comes into social services, it can come from anybody. Like I said, there is a duty from everybody. So there are times when children's services will receive a report from school. There are times they will receive a report from neighbors. There are times they will receive a report from family members, extended family members, those who know the duty they have towards any child that is facing any significant risk. Now, what are the risks? So there's a lot of things that can place children at risk. So there's 4 categories of abuse that the law in the UK will look into when it comes to child protection. And the 4 categories of abuse is the physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and neglect. Those are the 4 categories that will normally form part of any safeguarding of children here in the UK. And all those 4 categories, they are really wide. So physical abuse, I think, is one of the categories that is well known by people, most people. And you will hear people saying, well, I've not beaten that child, I have not touched the child, because they have a full understanding that physical abuse is not allowed here in the UK. You cannot beat your children. Most people, particularly who come from Africa, I come from Africa, that is my root. We were raised in ways where we used to be beaten by our parents, and that was the norm. And when you come here to the UK, then that changes. The law does not allow that physical chastisement or physical beating of a child, because then it means that child is being abused. And because people are aware of that, they then move into what is called emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is very wide. It is, I think, one of the abuses that are not well known by most people, but it is one of the worst abuses anybody can face, whether it is a child or whether it is an adult. It's the worst form of abuse any child can go through. So emotional abuse will come normally from the environment. So whatever is happening within a child's environment, it can be maybe the parents of that child are having domestic violence, and the child is a key witness or witnesses each time the parents are arguing or they're physically fighting. Even arguing in itself can cause emotional impact on a child. There are times you will not fight, you will not even argue. Excuse me if it becomes very noisy out here. It's because it's a lovely day and people are outside, so if you can hear any background noise, please excuse me. So I was talking about emotional abuse. It can be you're not fighting physically, it can be you're not even arguing, but if you're giving each other the silent treatment and children are present and they can witness their parents giving each other that silent treatment, that is enough to provoke emotional impact on young children. So so emotional abuse is really, really big. And what emotional abuse does is it starts affecting that child internally. That's why you start seeing children that have been impacted emotionally, they will self-harm themselves, because that pain comes from inside, and sometimes it becomes very, very painful for them. They don't know how to let out that pain. Some of them will actually become angry. That's why you see a lot of kids getting having that anger, a lot of anger. And all that is because of the emotional impact that that child has had, because of the environment they live, what they have been witnessing for a long time. It manifests as emotional impact. You will see some children cutting themselves, and that again is self-harm to that child. It's all because of the environment. It's all because of the emotional impact that child has had. Of course, unless there is a medical reason where a child is having those sort of behaviors, but in a lot of cases it all goes back to the environment where that child lives. That is when you will start seeing the manifestation of some of those things. Then there is the other category of sexual abuse. Is just as it says, there are adults. If you're living with a child and you're sexually abusing a child, then that is sexual abuse. We know that there are people who are like that. They will actually go on to sexually abuse young people. And sexual abuse is also very big. It can be from touch, inappropriate touching a young person, if they feel uncomfortable, it can be termed as sexual abuse. If you go very closely, and that is why here in the UK children are taught to have that safe distance. You don't come too close to them. For us in Africa, we are used to hugging a lot, but our children are taught, don't, keep a safe distance, don't hug. If they don't want to, please maintain that safe distance, because you could be alleged as being sexually abusive to that child. If they feel that they are not comfortable by you hugging them, it can be a form of sexual abuse, and that won't look very good to you as an adult. So it's always good to be cautious when you're coming close to children here in the UK, because you don't know how they're going to perceive it, and if they report it and say that they feel uncomfortable because of that close connection that you are having with them, it could land you in significant problems. And other things is obviously when you're physically touching a child inappropriately, when you shouldn't actually be doing that, then that is a form of sexual abuse. And then the neglect is when you're not providing for that child, when you're not meeting the needs of that child, then that could be neglect. It could be you're not meeting their educational needs, so you're not taking that child to school. Here in the UK, it is mandatory, and there is a law that you should take your children to school. If you're not taking your children to school, then it could be a form of neglect of their educational needs. Education here is free, so there is no reason why you should not allow your children to go to school. Again, it could be a neglect of their health needs. So maybe they have appointments, and each time when there's a medical appointment, you keep missing those appointments. That is a neglect of their health needs. Maybe it is a dental appointment. Maybe you've not taken your children for dentist appointment for years and years, and when they get a dentist appointment, you don't attend. That is neglect. Maybe they have a health condition, and when you've received an invitation to take that child for the medical appointment and you fail, if you fail maybe 2 or 3 times, that's the most you will get, then the medical professionals will make a referral to child services and say that this child is being neglected, they're not meeting their health needs, the parent keep missing their health appointments. So please make sure that you're taking your children to those health appointments. Don't miss. Please make sure you're taking your children to school. Don't miss taking them to school. All that could form part of neglect. And if a referral is received by children's services, then they have a duty to come and do an assessment and establish the reason why that child is being abused in any of the 4 categories that I have explained. Now, one of the other misperceptions there is the fact that a lot of people think that when social workers come to visit you, they are coming to remove your children. It doesn't work like that. And first of all, social workers, just to let you know, they don't even have the power to remove any child from their home environment. It is only the police through what is called a PPO, Police Protection Order, or the social worker will have to go to court and obtain an emergency protection order if they feel that a child is at significant risk and they cannot leave that child in their home environment, and the parent have refused to sign a voluntary arrangement for that child to be cared for by either a friend or a family member. Then that is the point the social worker will go to court and apply for an emergency protection order. But a social worker by themselves, they cannot come to your house and remove your children without your consent. It does not work like that. It does not happen like that. There has to be a full assessment, and the social worker has to give valid reasons why they feel that that child is at significant risk. So that's something I would like us to talk about maybe in the next episode, because this is a wide topic. And if you want me to give any more information about any fears that you have, anything that you're not clear about, I'm here for you guys. Let me know and I'm going to address those issues. So I think that is enough information for today, and I hope that this first episode of how the child protection system here in the UK works is going to start giving you some reassurances. Don't fear social workers. They are not bad people. They are doing their job to protect the children, especially if it is children social workers. And social workers actually do lots of things. There are social workers that work with adults. There are social workers that work with people with mental health. There are social workers that work with children or immigrant families. Different kind of social workers. You could be working in the court judiciary system. We call them Kafka. So you predominantly work within the court with family court, and you know, all those sort of social workers. They are all different kind of social workers. What I just wanted to explain to you is that social workers are not people to be feared. They are lovely people. They are doing their job to make sure that they safeguard, whether they are safeguarding children or they are safeguarding the adults. They have a duty, but not do the social workers only have a duty. You too have a duty. So I hope that makes it clear for you guys. I'm going to wrap this video here, and until I come back with another video, for now guys, I say Baraka. Baraka means blessings.